Is that you, Joe? Joe? Hello, Mrs. Palmer? Joe, is that you? Mrs. Palmer? The voice sounded foreign, and she didn't feel like being spoken to by a foreign-sounding voice right then. Who is this? Mrs. Palmer, it's Mrs. Kluzinski. Who? Jessica's advanced physics teacher. Linda backed away from the vanity unit, put the phone on the floor, and jammed the receiver between her right ear and shoulder. The only word she caught the foreign voice saying was advanced. Listen, if you're trying to sell me anything, it's Mrs. Kluzinski from Jessica's school. Anything at all, I'm just not... She stopped herself. A long time ago, she had trained herself to keep the unfamiliar in the background, and this is what she did now. The foreign woman faded out, and all she could hear was Bruce, still singing about Vietnam, and she couldn't work out if he'd actually been or not, or whether this even mattered. Maybe she was just missing the point. It's who? Mrs. Kluzinski, the foreign woman yelled down the phone. Linda held the receiver away for a moment as 40 years of Poland in exile made its way through the barricade of redneck vocals on the stereo. She had a sudden image of a woman who wore cardigans and the sort of slip-on shoes that were more prescription than High Street, emerging from one of the two-bedroom terraces at the top of Pollard's Close with her severely epileptic son. Wait, Mrs. Kluzinski, top of the close, Mrs. Kluzinski? That's right. I'm also your daughter's advanced physics teacher here at school. Her physics teacher? Oh, right, I knew that. Oh, sorry, I'm with you now. Looking at her alarm clock, she saw that there was less than an hour to go before class. The phone line fell in a coil between her breasts as she got back onto the bike. I'm with you now, she said again, sideways through the receiver as she started to pedal. Mrs. Palmer, are you still there? I'm here. She flicked the switch to gradient and breathed out hard. I'm afraid there's a problem with Jessica. A problem? It's an interesting problem. Linda had never found problems interesting and didn't like the fact that Mrs. Klush-whatever was enjoying this conversation more than she was. Yes, she said harshly, switching from gradient to gradient steep. She refuses to complete, no, even to look at the module on nuclear physics, which is a compulsory part of the A-level examination. What do you mean refuses? I mean she walked out of my classroom just now on ethical grounds. Mrs. Kluzinski paused. She sounded pleased, and this confused Linda, who had begun to swing her head slightly in an attempt to regulate her breathing. You're sure? She couldn't imagine Jessica walking out of class. I'm sure. It's never happened to me before. This was too intimate, more of a confession than a comment. Linda arched her back and tried to relax her shoulders. But the school said to put her in for early entry A-level physics. They said she was a straight A. No doubt. Linda was having trouble finding enough oxygen to speak, think, and cycle at the same time. There is no doubt. All we have to do is get her to overcome her reaction to nuclear in the syllabus. I respect it. I respect Jessica and her decision, Mrs. Kluzinski added, but she doesn't fully understand the physics of it. Once she understands the physics, or begins to understand, she will be able to see, or she will be a lot closer to seeing anyway, that it's not the physics that are corrupt. Linda became suddenly acutely aware of her thigh muscles. She can't study physics and turn a blind eye to the splitting of the atom. That's not wanting to know the whole truth. That's fanaticism, Mrs. Kluzinski said, carried away, and ignorance. The art block was being refurbished, and they were holding art classes in the science block this term. She reached out for the plastic cup full of mixing water that Miss West had been using during the last period and drank it like coffee. I urge you and your husband to talk to her. We'll talk, Linda said with a hungry intake of breath. Tell her not to throw her strength away on morality. That's not the path for Jessica. Tell her if she does the work she's meant to do on this module, she'll still be in line for an A.